Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. All right, so today's Wednesday morning, and tomorrow or tonight, not really sure how they're gonna do it. Sometimes they may give you the notice on midnight. You know what I mean? To if it's Thursday, then you may be seeing them at midnight on Wednesday night. So I'm not really sure how that works, but got up this morning feeling pretty motivated to address the situation as best I could, just like I did yesterday. So I got up looking for self-help information, lawyer stuff, and essentially what they're saying is you got to go down, have the paperwork that I threw away in a fit of frustration. Have those paperworks in regards to your lawyer's the case. Bring that with you and everything, and you have an opportunity to have a stay of eviction process that can give you anywhere from 10 to 40 days to chill. Or figure out, not chill, but figure out what exactly you can do for yourself. Give me an extension. So that's what I'm trying to do. But my dumb self threw away the paperwork I need, so I got to go back down to the courtroom and get that, as I expected to have to go down there anyway today, and then find out exactly how much I would owe to get the stay of eviction. So this is what my uncle is saying. I talked to my uncle. He just said text him what I need, and they'll be able to help me. So that part is really, really huge, bro. It's huge because I'm gonna need a lot of help. But it's not only finances that I'm gonna need help with. It's just the overall process, man. I'm getting my butt whooped by the circumstance, and that is time running out and not necessarily knowing what to do, and then having anxiety kind of stepping in the way of the most obvious circumstances. So calling lawyers and stuff like that has been a challenge. But I called Boston again today, left him a message 6 something in the morning. It was 6 now, so about 5 something in the morning. And called another place as well. Then I got some referrals for housing counselors. So, maybe I can get connected with the housing counselor as we start to move forward in the process of trying to figure out what options I have. But, I just feel overwhelmed, you guys. That's the word. So completely overwhelmed. It's not even about not being confident, not being close to the Lord. It's just trying to do all of this stuff by myself without really having the conditioning to even as much as leave a house for the last 2 years. So, eviction really does deteriorate the mind, and it would be best if you can get legal help before it gets to a point where I'm at, where everything you didn't get done with legal help, and now you're in the crosshairs of the courts in regards to getting you up out of there quickly. I have legitimate reasons for why things happen. I got legitimate reasons for why I don't think I deserve to be evicted, based on different repairs that haven't been fixed in this house, including hole. You know what I'm saying? Which was never shown as evidence in the court, just simply because of the fact that I just didn't have anyone there to advise me, didn't handle it properly myself, or what have you. I just didn't get a chance to really do anything but own my end of the bargain without actually showing the legal aspect of what it is I have. So I need lawyer representation. I need a place to stay. I need money. I need all kinds of things that fall into place that are just not manifesting on its own. And without a car, I'm moving around slow. You know what I mean? Stuff ain't getting done. I'm going to places it's closed. I'm going to stuff ain't. Nothing is manifesting, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing's manifesting. And because nothing is manifesting, we just got to keep pushing forward and see what the Lord has. Last night, I will say, though, I had an amazing night. Meditation, you know what I mean? I found myself asking for rejuvenation, and I sat down in my little favorite space to pray and listen to some music, and it seemed like the music was talking to me in a way. It was almost like the Lord was speaking through the songs, encouragement, like as if I had made that playlist for that moment. And it was actually made almost a year ago to the month. It was made a year ago to the month. So it's just kind of how funny how God works in encouragement. And He's assured me that, He wants me to continue to believe in Him, put Him first, get closer to Him as we go through this. And man, I just feel sorry for people who have the circumstance I'm going through. Obviously, feeling sorry for myself is low. I'm not doing that. But what I will say is I think about people who are going through what I'm going through, who have children. I think about people who are going through what I'm going through, who have other types of mental illness where they can't explain to anybody that they're sick. Myself, it's not that I couldn't explain it. It's just that I couldn't bring myself to approach anything stressful without feeling like I feel right now. But it's not even about just how I feel. It's about the reality of the circumstances that are also heavy. And so I'm not really worried about the aspect of things not working out as it pertains to how I'm viewing this. That's just the cause. The effect is what's bothering me. Having to do it all by myself. It's rough, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I know what I'm not going to do. Quit. And that's what I'm here to tell you guys. We got to keep pushing forward. I was praying for the Lord to make me equipped for what it is he wants me to do. Ask him to help me break away from things that I have no business holding on to, whether it be emotional, physical, anything. And I committed to wanting to do what I can. I told him, I'm like, look, I've been trying every day. Even though it's coming to nothing. I feel like I'm throwing rocks at a wall, trying to address this situation as ignorant in regards to it as I am. But every day I've been going out trying to condition my mind to be out with people, get myself down to the court, whether it's open or not, get myself to the library when I needed to address that, get down to the courts to show up even when they didn't. When they sent me some stuff, came back down there, I addressed my side of the fence every time, held myself accountable for everything that I did, and basically didn't hold them accountable for anything that they didn't do. Just because I knew that I caused this. With my mental illness not getting help, with my atheism, so to speak, trying to hold my shares instead of paying my bills, trying to sacrifice everything, including my bills, to be a part of the movement. Man, I held whether it made sense or not. And I had a mental illness that had me feeling anxious about life, whether I was going through something or not, the whole time in isolation by myself, no counsel. This is what happens to a person like myself. I tried to do the best I could, didn't have no help, man. You get the results. And I'm not ashamed. Why would I be ashamed when I did something that I knew was right? Just didn't do it the right way. You know what I mean? You can't be ashamed of that. So I think it would have been different if I'd have had people with me. I don't blame any of my people for not being with me. I created that with my own choices. And as a result, I get to suffer the circumstances as they are. And it is not favorable, but I would be lying if I said I didn't already pay for that by enjoying so many days in this house where I was able to lick my wounds, stay into my comfort zones, create what it is I want to create, do my channel, you know what I'm saying? Make my playlists at weird hours of the night, make my videos at weird hours of the night. I was paid already in regards to what it is that I was trying to get out of this circumstance. And now that it all goes left, it's time for me to pay back what I've already earned, what I've already appreciated. So this is what that looks like, I believe. And I'm trying to survive it. To be completely honest with you, I'm trying to survive it. I feel good in regards to not wanting to quit on life. You know what I mean? I feel good in regards to believing that the Lord can do good things from here. I feel good in regards to the fact that things could get worse from here and I'll get better, in the process. Even if they do get worse, I will move forward in a way that allows me to be at peace somehow, because that's the mission. That you go to God and you ask for the stuff that what it is that you don't feel you have. You know what I mean? Peace in regards to the situation, help in regards to the situation, support that will give me the best direction. I don't want to just take my family's money and then not have a plan. And that is exactly what's going on here. And I didn't want to tell my uncle that I need more than just, the money, but that is more so the conversation. I just need some counsel, man. I don't know what the heck I'm doing in this situation. And I'm okay with saying that because when I do know what I'm doing in situations, I'm very confident with that. But this is ridiculous in regards to how I've been failing at handling it, getting things done, approaching things properly, applying for things. I've been trying and not coming up very, very strong, but the Lord is efficient, because my uncle told me that he can help me with my finances. I could probably go back down there and drop off that application and let them know I got a co-signer that's ready to help with what is necessary. And so if you guys want to give me this apartment for any reason, we're going to be fine financially in regards to me paying for it. But it's not that simple. Now I need to know how much I need for everything. Now I have to be able to mobilize others to move me in a short amount of time, which was already understood, and I already talked to my boy T. At least I'll have him to help me, I believe. So these are the type of things that it's hard to express to people the context of just exactly how alone I am and have been in regards to the day-to-day that should come with straightening things out. I don't blame anybody for that. Again, I created that for myself by design. I wanted that. All of my friends are great. Would have been closer if I'd allowed them to, but I just didn't allow them to. So when you start talking about things getting done, it's about whether or not the person who's doing them has the right stuff rolling around in their head. And right now, I do not. I don't. I just don't. I don't know what to do. This is when you learn what to do in circumstances like these, so you can tell people from here what you did. And so I'm in uncharted territory, and my brain is doing the stuff that it normally does, which is keep me in anxiety and unhappiness with the circumstances or what have you. And you guys are my outlet. You guys are my proof. You guys are my understanding of what works when I'm going through what I'm going through. And I appreciate everybody who watches me. You know what I mean? When you go through tough times, you appreciate the people who are rooting for you. And I never asked nothing for me, and I'm not going to now, other than prayers for everybody. And I know they'll land on me. And if you have some influence in this area, take my example and apply it to the possibility of someone else or others being like me. Because I have never seen anyone like me. And I've never been made clear that there is anyone else like me, which is why I don't feel like there's a whole lot of help for me. In a perfect world, this is what I would be able to do. Go to a lawyer, go to someone and say, I've been ill for a long time. I've been undiagnosed. I've been in isolation, and that is why. What can I do for myself now that this understanding is in place? Everything that didn't get done is because of that mental illness. Everything that should have been done didn't get done, regardless. If I want to blame it on the mental illness or not, what do you do when you are alone and everything that you're supposed to be doing makes you stressed? It makes it so that you want to defy the necessary need to do it just to protect yourself from the stress itself. What do you do if that's your head? Everything that needs to be done that would otherwise not get neglected just simply gets neglected by way of that anxiety having so much control over your life. Is that fathomable? Is it fathomable that a person like that would join something that would keep it so that they would be even more stressed? Why would their brain join an ape movement that they know can ultimately take all their money? You know what I mean? Drive you into the ground. You know, it's like that brain chose that path. And I chose it for virtuous reasons. I chose it because I believe in something greater than myself. I chose it because I felt like I was crazy enough to do it. and it was going to take people like me who were crazy enough to do it to see it all the way through. What about that variable, that I had those mental illnesses and all of that, but that wasn't actually what drove me to isolation. It was waiting on something that never came, that actually really did deterioration to the brain. What's out there for the apes who are mentally ill in deep isolation? Because that's the specifics of my situation. And I was somebody who not only believed in something that's real, but to this very second, there are a lot of people who look at what we're doing as folly. They don't even believe this is a real movement. They think people like us are just kind of misguided in our approach. They don't necessarily see what it is that I've been trying to tell people or what have you for the past 2-3 years. What's out there for someone like myself who has that problem and then found themselves in that situation? And now, because of it, everything that's stressful, of course, didn't get addressed. So it's like, even now, you know, I'm coping instead of doing. Even now, I'm coping instead of doing. It's just not, it doesn't work. And I don't know how else to be, man. This is it. This is all I am. And to a point, it's like, I'm sitting here thinking about my own problems, and I think about the countdown that I'm going through, right? I'm waiting on this to happen. I'm always waiting on something, whether it be someone to take the car or the court date or, you know, MOAS, or now the eviction process going left to this the point, every court date, and then proceeding to wait on them to put the scarlet letter on my door, which is E, the red E, as they call it. When they put that red notice on your door and tell you got 5 days to get the hell out. Now I'm like counting down that, and it's like there is a parallel in place in life right now that embodies the entire energy that would be most fearful in this situation. And that's what those submarine individuals in the submarine are going through right now. So much worse than what I'm going through. So much worse. But happening at the same time, just first of all, prayers to them and their families. I am praying deeply that they find those people, or that the Lord will provide some way for them to have mercy in regards to the circumstance. If they're not found, give them mercy, get them out of that. Provide grace to them, what would be best. Don't allow them to suffer what we are all wishing would not happen. I haven't looked at the news. I hope they found those people, but I know that they're running out of air. But it's just like, this is the cruelty of what it is that I've been kind of dreading. It's like something like that is happening on another place in the world while I'm going through what I'm going through. And this is the essence of what it is that makes it so difficult for me. It's the countdown, waiting for the worst to happen while not being able to do nothing, or feeling you can't do anything. And for that story to be out at the exact time I'm going through this just feels like a very, very interesting way to absorb what it is that I'm going through. Is to say, you don't have it as bad as someone else, but do be reminded of the cruelty of how this feels. You know what I mean? It's almost like, do be reminded that this is meant to make you be destroyed. The countdown, so to speak, as I always tell you guys, you're always waiting. You're always thinking something worse is going to happen. You're always trying to mentally prepare yourself for something outside of your control to come knocking on your door, or something outside of your control to ultimately take away what it is that you're so appreciative of. And, I just think about how that makes me feel in regards to the fullness of it, to say, do I even have a right to dread what I'm going through when I know they're going through that at the same time? Am I making a fool out of myself when I say to the world, or say to the Lord, I think it's a cruelty that they're going through that, and I think it's a cruelty that I would be aware of it while going through this? Is that like, what am I to think of that? You know me, I always read signs. I'm always talking about the universe. And for them to be going through that just makes me realize that I don't even have a right to be upset about what I'm going through. But that they're going through it just the same is something that needs to be absorbed by this brain of mine. And I just feel like it's yet another cruelty. Like, as I said, some of the things that happen in my life are just very cruel. It seems like it's poking at me, even though obviously the world's not pointing and revolving around me. It just seems like my worst fears, are always being magnified by either something else going on that mirrors that in some other way, or just some repeated nonsense that makes it so that I keep revisiting the same countdown, so to speak. It's like I'm always waiting for a countdown, as already described. And you lose sight of what it is that you have that you need to keep, because you're just looking at it as something that's going to be leaving. You don't see the options that you have to keep it, because all you see is something that's leaving. So that story that they're pushing around and telling us about just makes it worse, is essentially what I'm saying. Knowing that they're going through that makes it worse that I'm going through this, and looking at it from a standpoint of, and it gets worse for people. It can be a worse situation. Even if I want to cope or feel bad about myself, I don't have a right to do that. I guess that's what I've come around to say. You know what I mean? If I want to sit here and dread my situation, ask the Lord to fix my situation, I get the unfortunate truth that I'm not going through nothing. You know what I mean? Really, I ain't going through nothing. I'm going through too much for me. But if they would apply that, it would be significantly worse, and I would need significantly more strength to be able to endure. And so that's what it is. I just want to come here and tell people that that's on my mind. I think it's awful that they keep telling us these people are running out of air every 3 hours. You know what I mean? This is how much air they got left. It's just an evil cruelty countdown. That is just that. It's evil and cruel to them, and I just hope that they find those people. I hope that they're using every resource they can to to bring those people to shore. And just since we're talking about that, I hear the argument that people are saying in regards to they need to spend their money on more productive things, helping people. Obviously, here I am in a situation like this, and they're spending $200,000 to go down there, and it's like, that's not what comes to mind to me, though. That's not what comes to mind to me, because if I'm gonna think like that, then I got to look at everybody who's spending their money in any kind of way as a means of them doing something wrong to me because they're spending the money that I need. I didn't earn their money, first of all. Second of all, there are people spending money on stuff that's a lot worse than going on scuba trips to visit the Titanic. But there is something to be said for just how we romanticize other people's suffering. The Titanic was not something to romanticize, even though they made the movie out of it, and the ship was big, it was never supposed to sink. All of that was very, very true. But at the end of the day, people really, that event took place, and it caused a lot of suffering, horror, and death. And to romanticize it and to want to go down there and dive all the way down 12,000 feet, and just to see these people's some space of rest in the tomb from which they suffered. There's something to be said for maybe not. Honestly, there's something to be said for leaving tombs alone, leaving, as we go through different, we talked about this too, when archaeologists go through different tombs and try to go in there and just see what's in there. I think there's some valid help that can be found from doing so. We need information. We need to study, bones or whatever. You need to study DNA. You need history, matching history, all of that. I support that, but there is a line that we often cross, I believe, as humans, not respecting people's tombs or places of passing or what have you. And this is yet another one of those situations where I look at it and say, I don't know that the Lord is really pleased with how we do that. I don't know that that's necessarily what that's for. Maybe the Titanic should have been brought up. Maybe we should have already brought that ship up and gave all of the people who passed away proper burial. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what the money's supposed to be for, instead of going down there just looking. Maybe we should be spending more dollars and trying to find ways of making sure those people get out of that place from which they did not choose. People might have had real plans for what they wanted in regards to their passing. A lot of those people were young, they didn't expect to die. They didn't exactly want to stay down there. You know what I mean? They probably wanted to be buried next to their family members just like the rest of us. I just don't think that we've given a whole lot of credence to that because we romanticize the passing itself, the way they died. Maybe it's too far down to dig that thing up. Maybe it's not safe to go 20,000 feet under the sea and getting a big ship out of there. I don't assume that would be just as simply as possible, but because it is not possible, should we not leave it alone rather than what it is that they did there? And looking at the company that put it together, the way that they use a video game controller, not even an official one, to kind of use to kind of navigate the thing, it just looked like that was not something that should have been done, at all. The way that was set up, the price tag on it, the quarters from which that submarine, that should not have been a business, to be honest with you. And so I've just hurt for the families. I hurt for them to have to suffer this. Even if they are rescued, what they've already had to go through is ridiculous. You know what I mean? The suffering is just absurd, the countdown, so to speak. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't wish it on anybody. And as I go through my own little countdown, ain't nearly as serious. It just helps me understand that these type of things, to some small degree, it gives me the understanding that they need prayer, if nothing else. It gives me the understanding that they need mercy in their situation. So that's what I'm here to tell people, that I'm praying for that for them. And because they're going through that, I don't know if I even have a right to pray for it for me. That's what the cruelty of it is. But yeah, man, prayers out to their families, prayers out to everybody. Just because you're wealthy does not mean you deserve to suffer. despite what many tell you. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Just like I don't believe the poor deserve to suffer, I don't believe the wealthy deserve to suffer. Suffering is not something to deserve. It's something to shun away from yourself, bringing yourself good energy, love, support, compassion, and all those different things. You want all of that so that you're not deserving of the sufferings that often come. You can ask for that mercy, and maybe the Most High provided to you if you deserve it. I can't be certain, but I definitely hope for all of you that you do good things with your energy so that you can appeal to that Most High. And I was thinking about some of the things I did wrong in the past, energies that I didn't engage in that were positive, and I just think, forgiveness has already been found. I think when I sit here and feel what it is that I'm going through, describe it as difficult or what have you, I just think that what the Lord has often told me is, I've done well, I've done good, I did the best I could. He's been pleased with me these last couple of days. I should be pleased with myself, even though a lot hasn't been done and much needed to be done. When you're by yourself and you're doing the best you can, you got to pat yourself on the back for what you're doing. And that's what the Lord was essentially saying to me last night. Like, yo, look at all you've been trying to do and following through. And for somebody who tends to quit things, you following through is basically what the Lord wants me to do. Follow through. Don't worry about whether it works out or doesn't work out. Just get in the rhythm of starting something and completing it. And so that's what the Lord was telling me last night, that he's very proud of me, that he thinks I'm doing well, that I shouldn't be down in regards to how I feel about these circumstances. Even though they are down circumstances, I don't have to feel down in dealing with them. And so that's what I just want to tell everybody. I believe that good things can happen here. I don't know from what, but from within my faith and my effort. And so that's what I hope to share with you guys, good things. And don't be discouraged because you're watching me go through what I'm going through, and I feel a little discouraged. I think that discouragement comes when you haven't yet asked for the courage necessary to face that discouragement. And that's what I'm asking for now. It was something that came to me last night. It flowed to me like poetry. It was something along the lines of, it was like turn this word into something positive with a similar word. It was like, I don't remember what it was, but it was something like turn discouragement into courage or something. Turn what is meant to belittle you into a battle, or so. I don't remember how it went, but essentially it's turn all the negatives into a positive. Take what is meant to disgrace you and bring grace to you. That kind of thing. Take what is meant to make you bitter and allow it to make you better. That was one of them. So I just wanted to share that with you guys as I was meditating on that last night. What is meant to make you bitter can make you better. What is meant to discourage you can bring you courage, that kind of thing. So just think that way when you're going through what you're going through, even if you got a whole village behind you, or if you're alone like me. I got a village behind me, but you know what I'm saying. No one in the room to help, whether you're by yourself or not. You're in a position to go into your innermost and your dedication to what you believe in, and you will find the strength to find comfort. You will find the strength to provide comfort, and that's what I've been able to afford. The ability to find closure. I think I found a certain level of closure for this place. Even though I stress other things, my spirit is ready to say goodbye to this place. After last night, me and God made it clear. I left everything here in regards to my meditation, all the stuff that he wanted me to do in healing in this area, all the push-ups he wanted me to do. You know what I mean? We talked about that. All the different things that the Lord kind of guided me to do in this apartment. We're good. I think the Lord let me get all of it out of my system. I'm ready to say goodbye to this place if I can find something new. And he's good in regards to completion of purpose in this building, in this apartment. He's let me know he's cool. He's good on this. Next thing I got to do is to just try to figure out if I can get down to the courtroom, get that paperwork, and then slide over to the Rosslyn Lofts and see if I can return this to them. I think I want to either do that today or tomorrow. So I got to get that paperwork from the courts, contact lawyers, hopefully to get back to me, and take the paperwork to those lawyers. All of this has to be done today or within the next several days. And see, the thing about it is, just don't know which way to go. Like, if I can get the Rosalind Apartments, then I don't need the execution, the stay of execution. You know what I mean? I can just move. So it's like, what to do? What do I do? What do I do? Do I go fight for the? Do I go down there and try to get the paperwork today? And I try to rush around and get everything done tomorrow? Well, the good thing is, if I go down to the courthouse, there is a train station about 4 blocks from that, 3 blocks from that. As you guys know, y'all watch me walk over there. So it's one of them situations where that's not gonna be hard to kind of get on the train from there. Knowing what I need is a whole nother story. I don't know what I need. I have no idea. So that's going to be the issue. Financially, I don't know what I need. But that's the beauty of the situation. It's just, the unknown allows you to provide yourself some a way to the Lord. When you don't know, you go to God. If you do know, maybe you're less likely to go to God. So that's what these circumstances do. And to trust Him, Trust Him, as I've told you guys. One of my biggest problems with my situation is trusting God when He's already put in my heart that something positive is there to see in the future. He wants to ease my mind. Hey, I'm going to do something for you. It's going to work out. I don't see it, God. I don't see it. And I know you don't see it, but that's what I'm doing for you. And it's like, I don't believe you. That's what I end up telling Him. Like, I don't believe that. I don't trust the voice. I think it's a voice telling me something that's going to gas me up to let me down. And it's like, that's where I'm looking for strength. It's like, for me, I tell you to do the work and you can trust that voice. But with the mental concerns that I have, trusting that voice is often doubted just off the strength of that. And I'm listening to the voices telling me everything's going to be fine to lay down. And I know I got to get up and do certain things. That 8:30 syndrome that we've talked about several times, where you're scheduled to do something, but the Lord's telling you not to. How do you trust that voice? When you have a troubled time trusting yourself in regards to how you've done things, you see the results of your voice, following your voice, getting you this far, and you don't like what it's been giving you. So how do you learn to trust that? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm learning how to. With every passing second, I apply my faith, and I wait for that voice to have promised, for its promises to be kept. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I'm really frustrated with just all that comes with my situation, just simply because I don't really know if I can trust that in the voice when it's telling me things are gonna be fine, or if it's just helping me cope with what is not gonna be fine. But my family's gonna help, so that's gonna be good. And my Lord is going to continue to instill the positivity in me to continue providing you the positivity necessary to make my image make sense. So I'm gonna be good there. The desire not to crumble is very strong in me, but just the same, the propensity to do so with this mental illness, and then the fact that I allowed myself to get this bad in the first place, I'll let you know just how serious all of this is. But that's what it is. I've been letting you know, not necessarily everybody else, and because of it, I don't always have what I need. So I think I've grown in the last couple of weeks. Like I said, I went from being somebody who was isolated for 2 years straight to somebody who's going to be walking down to the courthouse in a couple hours without any concern whatsoever, because I've been doing that type of distance every day. And it's like the worst of the circumstances brought out the best in me in that way. And that's something I can definitely appreciate the Lord for helping me find. And what I also don't want is to be delivered from the situation only to find myself the same guy, fall back into that space, let things get even worse. Can't happen. It might not even be possible, but that my mind would allow me to even think it is possible. Gives me many reasons to doubt and concern of self. And so that's when you got to apply the Lord to yourself as well. And we say prayers like, Lord, I speak life into your ability to reach me so I don't destroy me from the inside out. These are the type of things that I'm hoping He will help me with there, so that whatever would be inside of me that would rebuke what it is that He wants, or take steps away from what it is that's best, would otherwise just not be in place. And He could have full control over myself to facilitate me to be the blessing that He wants me to become, and to receive the blessings that He wants me to have. And that unselfish prayer thing, I found myself last night feeling all my problems. And, I'm proud to say that I don't feel comfortable only praying for myself. There was a moment in that in that prayer last night while I was sitting here trying to find that closure that I ended up finding for this apartment. And I was sitting here saying, Lord, would you help me find shelter? And then I just sat there with those words and I was like, God, that feels empty. Like it literally feels empty. You know, I always tell y'all I'm a selfish person by nature. Very. I'm thinking about me a lot of the times just by default because of my head looking to always protect itself. But I tell you, one of the things I want the Lord to block out of my life and guard out of my life is just selfish intentions upon blessings of saving oneself. It's empty. It doesn't serve nothing but allowing me the safety of being the guy who gets saved. I think about every time I've gotten a blessing and I didn't see others get blessed. And we talked about this, and this has just manifested more and more as I've gotten older. But the more I've seen favor in my life, the more I realize that the purpose of favor is to beg the Lord to provide that favor for others. It's the notion that you should be sad that other people aren't getting the favor you get. I get saved from poverty, and other people get, the worst of things. How do they fix their problems? How do I gain the strength that they have? If not for being saved all the time from everything that does make me that strong. Not to say that I don't appreciate being saved, because that's the essence of being saved, is the appreciation that comes with it and the ability to move forward even better. And that's what I hope to do with every blessing I get, with every bit of safety that comes my way, with every bit of favor that the Lord may provide me. I've been provided a lot. And I don't know, a lot of it didn't coerce me into being only but so great of a human, but just the same, I find myself in crisis and saying, I don't want to be the only one benefiting from the blessings I receive. I don't want to be the only one who's okay in the circumstances. People are suffering, people are struggling, people are on the street, been on the street. Just because I'm not used to this, and just because my circumstances are unique and I felt I didn't deserve this or what have you, doesn't mean that when it's time for me to receive the grace of being rescued, that I'm comfortable watching others suffer behind me as I get rescued. It's empty. It's absolutely empty. The Lord did not put me on this earth to remain as selfish as I find myself starting this process being. He didn't want me to think of myself when I'm suffering, because the essence of suffering is to understand that you relate to others who have suffered or who are suffering, and maybe some who might be blindsided by sufferings tomorrow. I've seen so many people survive circumstances. I've seen a lot of people quit circumstances. And the one thing I learned from the people who quit is that I ain't want to be nothing like them. And I felt like they did nothing for helping people get through these circumstances. If anything, they're just one more example of why I should block my own blessings and quit. I don't say to them that they should have stayed in life. I just say to them that they did us no service by quitting. None. And so as I look at myself and I want to fight through this, or may feel the urge to say words like I don't want to be here, at the end of the day, I don't want to be another example of why you couldn't overcome. Because I see the fruit of needing to. For a lot of us, we're going to be fathers, mothers, rescue workers, people who create opportunities for people who don't have them. We can't succumb to our sufferings if we're going to manifest the solutions that we're going to become. And I believe in that, if not for myself, for others, deeply. So as I go through things that deteriorate my mind and make me weak, I just remember that my overall goal is to remind people why they should keep going, not why they should quit. I want to provide another opportunity to show people why they should believe in the process of the sun shining tomorrow, and that them having things worth living for tomorrow, even though they can't find them in them to keep going today. Because I know of people who quit on life because of mental illness, and they had families they left behind. They had people that really needed them, and their lives fell apart after they passed away. And maybe they're relieved to their own sufferings, maybe they're relieved from their problems, but all they did was manifest more struggle from within their relief. All they did was manifest more sufferings in others from within their escape. And as sure as I'm alive today, I don't have any interest in being that. I'm trying to defeat the enemy. I'm not trying to give him my life out of sheer frustration. It's the same thing I said about sinning in the name of trying to cope with heartache. You can't win that way. You fighting fire with fire, fighting evil with evil, returning evil with evil. All you're going to find is more of the same. You can't win that way. And so that's what I'm trying to tell people. This is a battle for your soul. And if you quit on life at 38, 39 years old because things have gone bad, you know what you find? That you're stuck not being a good example at all. all of your sacrifices, everything that you wanted to do. It's just another reminder that people need to quit before the blessings come to them, because you quit before the blessings came to you. And maybe you couldn't endure no more. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was just too much. But it was supposed to be too much so that you wouldn't receive the blessing. It was supposed to feel like you couldn't do it. You were supposed to manifest the ability to quit in order for that to be the case, and you just complied. And I just think that, you got to keep going. You can't allow yourself to reach that threshold and not apply something that will allow you to move forward, so that you can let those people that are going to come from you, so that you can let those circumstances that are going to manifest from within your mind, the relief centers that you're going to build later on, whatever it is you're going to do in response to your difficult times, so that those things can manifest, they can happen. If you quit, they don't happen. If you stay frustrated and don't find it in yourself to get through this, then others who are watching you may not get through what they're getting through as well. And I don't want that for none of y'all. I don't want that for me in regards to my legacy. And that's what I want to say. You can't save the world. It's not on me to hate being rescued from my circumstances because others are suffering. I think that's also an evil conundrum that can allow you to hate yourself for reasons that don't make any sense. It's just like I said about you. I can welcome punishment from the Lord, but not welcoming punishment from self. I don't. You know what I mean? You got to psych yourself in understanding that. I welcome the Lord's blessings and punishments upon my life as He sees fit. Not necessarily thinking I can bless myself or make up for all of my wrongdoings by letting myself sit in squalor and suffer. That's not. That's the enemy working against you in just like any other way. But all in all, we don't allow that, and we want to keep going. And so that's what I want to tell people as I sit here, feeling like I'm wasting time by saying this. I just know that the Lord can do great things from me saying it, and I thank you, Lord, for allowing my uncle to provide me the grace of having support. I ask that you make it so that other people are able to receive support from family members, or even manifest it on their own if it's not coming. The strength needed to be able to overcome without that variable in place is something that I ask that you apply to everybody who doesn't have it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm asking for. The fact that I'm okay. There's a lot of people out there who feel the guilt of being okay. Their families left them a silver spoon. Their family left them enough to take care of themselves. Maybe they just didn't have some of these issues, so they look at me and say, man, I feel bad for B. I'm fortunate that I don't have that. I just tell you, just keep going. Don't feel guilt about what the Lord didn't provide you in regards to struggles, because you just got to be thankful that today is a day that didn't come, because you don't know when it will. That's what I tell people. Don't envy somebody else's life. I remember looking at some of my friends and people who were going through hard times when I was a kid, and I was just thinking that, man, I feel fortunate to not go through what they're going through. I'm sorry for them. You know what I mean? But now I fast forward in my life and realize it wasn't time for me to struggle like that, but now I get to. You know what I mean? Now it is time. So not to envy their circumstance or to just romanticize mine just because I've received grace up into a certain time. You don't know what the Lord got in store for you. And some of the people who are running around acting like everything is coming their way, it's going to keep going like that. Some of them are going to have to go through some things that maybe are more difficult than what I'm going through now. And just the same, they're going to have to find the strength to turn to God and overcome that and heal from those pains and be a good example if they have it in their heart to do so. And so, don't envy the next person's situation. Don't think that your situation can't get worse just because you're watching everybody else go through it. For all you know, what they're going through is going to provide them the strength necessary to help you get through what it is you're going to go through later on. So keep that nugget with you and be the support that you need to see in yourself when you go through something. Be that support for them that you will need from them in their time and in your time of need. So that's what I want to say, man. I hate to bring this to such a somber place all the time, but when you're going through hard times, there ain't a whole lot else to give. But I can tell you this: talking always makes me feel better. Talking to my uncle and that, and him telling me to tell him what I need was everything that I needed to feel good, that I can at least provide myself what I need going forward. And I'm really thankful that the Lord provided me such a helping hand in my family. And I thank Him for allowing me to go through this the way that I am alone, in this way alone, you know what I mean? Because I hope that if it doesn't crumble my mentality, that it'll propel me to being better. And that's what I'm dead set on, being better, becoming better, and letting the Lord move me in ways that he feels best. So now it is time for me to get in the shower, try to get some food in my belly, and get the heck out of this place so I can get out of the courtroom on time. I don't know if I want to go to the courtroom first or eat first, but just doing the best I can with what it is that I've been given, and very thankful that I have what I have. And so that's what I want to tell people, man. Don't give up. Don't lose control. Don't lose faith. Don't let that inner demon inside of you tell you that you can't make it happen, or that you're not able to relate to somebody. You just don't know what the Lord's gonna throw at you next. So stay tuned and stay prayed up, and never ever be afraid to pray prayers that protect you from the worst of times. Sometimes we don't want to go to those spaces, but it is fruitful, man. It is fruitful. If you're a praying person, to ask him to be ready when you're not. Ask him to be present when your consciousness may be absent, so to speak. If you may be despondent, if you may be in a situation of panic, if you find yourself in a situation of shock, you want to pray prayers that protect you from those traumas to the betterment of the preservation of your life. You don't want nothing to ping you out of, or snap you, or make you, you know what I mean? Life can throw a lot at us, and while we're sitting up enjoying life, folly, next thing you know, we're dealing with something that's unprecedented possibly, and you will have wanted protection from the worst of your own inner demons as it pertains to having to experience that moment. Trust you me, this is important for a lot of us, and especially those of us who are cognizant of things that could get better or could get worse. You just want to have these type of things in place for the worst of things. And so and receive better. Tell him that you want to receive better. Tell him that you want to get past those moments so you can be able to show him how much you want to thank him later on. That's what I'm telling the Lord. It's like, look, I can't wait to get where you're going to take me so that I can praise your name when I get there. That's what I'm telling God. Like, look, I'm going to praise your name when I get where I'm going, regardless of what it is. I'm going to be thanking you for it. You've already done enough to make me say praise the Lord for the rest of my life. So it's not like this particular trial is going to make me turn my back on those understandings. If anything, I ask that you help me grow in my understanding of just how blessed I've been, so I know how much confidence I should have going forward in the Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. That's what I'm telling him. That's what I'm asking for. Remind me of what you've already done for me so I can continue to be thankful in the presence of these difficulties, because that is ultimately what is best for me, is the praise and the thankfulness and the appreciation energy that ultimately sent up to the source in the times of need. That will heal you, helping others during your time of need. That also heals you. So let's ask for healing. Let's work toward healing. Let's work toward solutions. And I was saying something along the lines of last night. I embody solutions. Solutions come to me clearly. Positive affirmations. I will find solutions in the Lord, and solutions are the gift that the Lord wants me to find in the circumstances I'm in. So I welcome those solutions for myself and others, and I ask that you provide those solutions for as long as they're needed, in Jesus' name, amen. These are the type of things that we just keep on praying. We don't care about what the world is throwing at us as it pertains to us not having a defense for it. If we're going through something that's impossible, then somebody else is, we know to pray for it. If we're going through something that otherwise wants to use our energy against us, we know who to turn to. The Lord will help us through that. So everything that has to do with anything gets the God variable attached to it. And I think the answers that you're looking for will be found somewhere within that variable. So that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do, man. Help pray for those who can't pray for themselves, especially little ones who don't know the Lord yet. Pray for them. See to it that their energy is protected. And that's what I got to say, man. That's the direction of this morning. Putting in the effort necessary to at least try the circumstances in the circumstances. So that's what I got to say, man. Obviously, I want you to pray for everybody, and of course, when they do that, it'll land on me, and I definitely appreciate it. So that's where we're at, man. Always looking to encourage not only you, but me too. I want to encourage myself so I can get through these circumstances and apply what's necessary. And so that's what it is, man. Now I'm leaning on my faith. And I trust that the Lord will allow that to have made me pleased with what happens next. Because at the end of the day, that's really what I'm looking for. BDF 44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.